we're playing. But at the moment, we are actually in a study stream, so we can leave the title as it is. And head into the analysis of some of the hands that I had some open questions about. And also, it allows us to communicate without delay, which is always nice, of course, because you guys can ask questions and we can get a little bit deeper into the spots and into the analysis and open questions about the methodology of analyzing in the first place. Also, how's it going, Kakiti? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, if you switch into no delay, definitely refresh stream. There are plenty of situations where it doesn't load for people and they're just waiting randomly. Okay, first hand we're going to look into will be this one here. So I have King 10, 8, 6 double suited in the small blind versus the cutoff open. I decided 3-bet before the flop. And we're going to start by first of all looking into the preflop solution. So we're going to click load from database. And in here we have different profiles. If you guys are watching this for the very first time, if you see this tool in action for the first time, this is what we call the bucket tool. It will actually be renamed very shortly. But basically it is a project in the PLO mastermind that helps players to improve their game pre and post flop by getting access to solver results that are all stored in a cloud database. So here we talk about already ran solver results that you can access immediately. And here is the first example. So we have different pre-flop trees we can open. So those are pre-flop solutions for different stakes and stack sizes. So on the left-hand side, you can see we have PLO 50, PLO 500, and PLO 5000. And dependent on whether you play at low stakes, mid stakes, or high stakes, you can choose your profile. The difference here is that there are different rake structures in place, and those rake structures affect the GTO preflop solution. For the sake of this video, or this analysis, we're going to choose PLO 500 because that's the stake we're playing. And we're going to make now, we're going to move into the tree here and say the cutoff raises. And we are on the button, no, we're on the small blind. And we're going to click download. And it's going to now download and push these ranges into the bucket tool. We call these ranges action ranges. So here we have small blind folding, small blind calling, and small blind 3-betting, and you can see the respective frequencies of our preflop strategy at the top. These hand combinations are sorted by EV, so you can see the highest EV cold calls here, highest EV 3-bets here, and then all the folds are minus 0.5, and that is because when you're folding the small blind, you're losing 0.5 big blinds, which is the small blind. And now I'm going to just type in King 10, 8, 6, double suited. And we can see what the solution will be. And the answer is only 18% of the time we're going to 3-bet. If we are using the high suits, I'm not sure if that is actually working already. The syntax. 1 second. King 10, 8, 6. And we use X, Y, X, Y. It either works right now or it comes with the next update. No, it comes with the next update. So we're going to look into King 10, 8, 6 with club, spade, something like that. And as we saw already before, like most of those hands are not going to be 3-betting. You can see even here, King 10, 8, 6 with the clubs and the spades is in fact going to call or fold. But if you look into King 10, 8, 6 double suited overall with all the different variations essentially, and they will also be put together or laid together in the next update, we can see that very few of them are 3-betting. Most of them are going to fold. In fact, some of them are calling. If you have high suits, which means that the King and the 10 are differently suited, which is the case here as well, you're generally going to call. Actually, you're going to call even like low frequency, 18%, 18%, 26%. So this is actually not strong enough to 3-bet. It's not even really strong enough to call. Like sometimes you can call. So it's kind of interesting. What I'm interested in is like if our hand would be a little bit better, King 10, 9, 7, like we would certainly 3-bet, I would think. So King 10, 9, 7 is always a 3-bet, even with low suits. So the real issue here is connectivity. What about queen 10 8-6? I think queen 10 8-6 is also too weak. We'll see though. And then jack 10 8-6 is also too weak. Like those are all too weak. We need like a 7 in place. Well, an 8 maybe. Yeah, an 8 is fine too. Queen 10 8-7. Let's have a look. Yeah. Well, actually, queen 10 8-6 is also 3-betting. Is that true? So queen 10 8-6 is also 3-betting every single time. So what really matters here is the connectivity. And because the king and the 10 have such a big gap in there, it looks like this hand is better suited towards just folding. The BAM tool, it should be named. When EV is the same when calling and folding, does it make sense to fold more often because there's always EV in the next hand? Yeah, but like, how do you quantify that EV for one additional hand to play, you know? I think I would then make it more of a judgment based on your opponent's quality of game. Kaka says, pretty close pre, can't feel too bad. Yeah, it's okay, but also these kind of mistakes, they add up. You know, I had the issue before of 3-betting too much in the small blind, and this is kind of an illustration of it. So it's a trend to observe and keep observing on my end. I'm going to open now a sim in Monker Solver about this sort of poor texture when you 3-bet from the small blind against the cutoff, and see if like my plan here was to check fold essentially, and we are just going to look into if that is actually reasonable and sort of what our bluffs would be. On that note, because I did lost connection, I need to quickly adjust, I think, the editor file. Yes. Sorry about that. Just trying to like adjust this file here. Does it take into account the rake paid and the rake back? The rake paid, yes. If you have a lot of rake back, you should just use a sim at higher stakes, essentially. I could also use a sim at 5k PLO. It's actually a pretty good point because there's quite a bit of rake back on that party. Okay, this didn't work. Let me just try to do it again. I imagine this spot will be RNG'd a lot. Well, I think blockers are really important, you know. So like having no heart is quite of a problem. Like I think there's a lot of checking going on here from our perspective, like from our side. I'm gonna use a sim for. I don't think we have 150 big blinds for this spot, right? No, we don't. 100 big blinds, 3-bet pot, small blind versus cutoff on a monotone texture. We have ace queen 10 or ace queen 9. And I'm going to use ace queen 9 for this one here. It's the best flop to choose from the catalog. Actually, on ace high boards for c-betting range. Wow. For c-betting range, guys. Who would have thought that? Big blind has 61, almost 62% equity. That is surprising. Let's compare it with the ace 8-4. I think we probably will. Yeah, we'll actually pull. Yeah, you're right, actually, Korai. We do need to check on ace 8-4 probably. Like, very likely, I think. And ace jack 5 is sort of in between. So we're going to use ace 8-4. 15% check. So like really minimum. And if you look at a hand like king, queen, if you look at something like king, wait, you cannot see it. If we use a hand that is smaller than an ace and has no spade, like we're still betting a ton basically. Especially if we have, I think especially if we have little showdown value. Is that true? So a hand that is not bigger than, let's say, a queen. Yeah, we're betting most of those combinations essentially. I mean, what about, oh, sorry, it's not better than two queens. 83, 84% betting. So I think just betting your entire range on these boards is probably an okay starting point. And I don't think our hand will like double or triple barrel very much, like the specific one. We just get to realize our equity, have a little bit of fold equity, and that's it, essentially. We can see, though, that the hands that are giving up on the left-hand side, they are quite Broadway heavy. So like we're unblocking our opponent's folding range as well. But I think this hand is actually going to be a bet on the flop and not just like a check fold. Probably not a huge difference in terms of EV, but it's good to know more about these monotone board textures in 3-bet pots and like how often we're actually supposed to see bet for a small sizing, even if we don't have blockers. And as Koray pointed out, we're just too OP, overpowered when it comes to our aces distribution and also double suited hands, and we have so much equity on these boards. Even on ace 8-4, we have 60% equity. And as we're using only a small sizing, it looks like we're fine just betting full range. All right, next hand we're going to look into is this one here. And just going to ask the chat what chat thinks about whether or not we should call. So we open in middle position at 100 big blind stack size. We get called by the cutoff, and the big blind squeezes. And it goes back to us. And the question is, what should we do, guys? You can see here the poll is being shown above my head. You can type in a 1 in the chat for fold, a 2 in the chat for call, and a 3 in the chat for 4-bet. Use the numbers. So if you use the number, it will be recognized by the system, and you are influencing the poll at the top. A lot of folds here. A lot of folds. A lot of folds, guys. All right. So we got 20 votes so far, 21 votes. It's pretty close-ish between calling and folding. And we're going to pull up this solution here, load from database. And we're going to first look into the PLO 500 solution and then see if there is a big difference with the PLO 5K solution. So we open raise an MP. Actually, let's click on new situation. I'm not sure if that's necessary, but just in case. So we open an MP, cut off cold calls, button folds, small blind folds, big blind, squeeze. And it's back to us. I know we have a high fold frequency here, by the way, like 50% or so. 42% apparently. Okay. Check, check, 8-6, double suited. Finish the poll. You guys decided to fold, and it is a call. You can see it's a 98% call, but it is close between calling and folding in terms of EV. It's in both cases minus 3.5, but the solver decides to lean towards the side of calling. So calling seems to be fine here. Let's have a look at similar-ish hands. We're going to look into kings, queens, jacks, and tens that are all double suited. Wait, that doesn't work. That are all double suited. Okay, let's start with queens double suited. Queens double suited fold 8%. Pretty sick. Jacks double suited. We also have to remember we did open raise in MP, so a lot of the hands are going to be connected. Jacks double suited fold 26% at a time. So the jacks we would be folding at a high frequency would be Jack, Jack, 6-4. So we have lower cards. What else? Jack, Jack, 10-6. Like more disconnectivity here. But Jack, Jack, 8-4. Again, more disconnectivity, more gaps. Jack, Jack, 9-4. It looks like 8-6 is just too good connected to be mainly folding. I think Queen, Queen, 9-8 double suited 4 bets. Really? No. It's going to be a call. I mean, if you remove aces from your range, you can see on the right-hand side what hands are going to be 4-betting. Not sure what's happening. Is it loading? We have to go this way. Okay. What hands are 4-betting? Jack 9-6-5 double suited is 4-betting. Ace 10-7-4 double suited is 4-betting. Jack 10-7-5. Ace Jack 9-7 some of the time. Queen 10-6-5 double suited is 4-betting. Queen Jack 6-5. So like double suited trash that can't call or shouldn't call a 3-bet. It's just going to sometimes turn themselves into a bluff in 4-bet. So the idea of Queen, Queen, 9-8 or better is really not like how the solver builds his strategy. It's much more polarized. Because a lot of the strong hands, like they do really well in a 3-bet pot. So they're going to call. And then the hands that cannot call a 3-bet, they are sometimes okay 4-betting. For example, Ace, Queen, 8-5 double suited is 4-betting 39% of the time. Because we are blocking aces and our hand is not doing that well in a 3-bet pot. It's also being sandwiched here, right? So that's pretty interesting. This hand was a call. And we ended up actually in this specific spot getting all the money in pre-flop against aces twice, and we had 44% equity. So this was the matchup here. We ended up getting it in against ace, ace, 9-3 with a low suit from MP. And ace, ace, queen, 5 with a queen eye suit from the big blind, and we had 44% equity. We unfortunately didn't win, but it was a pretty nice spot. Next hand to just quickly check up on is Queen, Queen, 10-10. So cutoff opens. We have Queen, Queen, 10-10 single suited. I'm going to use the poll one more time. Would you guys fold, call, 3-bet? 1, 2, or 3 guys in the chat for Queen, Queen, 10-10. Makes sense. Rarely seen in the wild. That is for sure. Definitely rarely seen in the wild. Can we use Bucket Tool for MTT's spots as well, and how? Not at the moment, but you will be in the future. Probably even in the near future. So here, most of you guys are aiming to call. Let's load a solution here. Under big blinds, we see the cutoff opening, and we're going to download the button's response. I opted to call as well, but I was a little bit unsure if we could also 3-bet this hand some of the time, you know? You guys are going to go for a call. I'm typing in queen, queen, 10, 10, 19% 3-bet, and I think those are double suited, so we're going to use single suited now. And the answer here would be 95% calling when you are single suited. So if we have queens that are single suited, like what queens are we 3-betting? King, king, queen, queen, ace, king, queen, queen. Can we remove an ace here? Let's have a look if the syntax works or not. We're still like experimenting with the syntax to make it more functional. We can remove an ace, okay. Can remove a king. Can we remove a king? Wait, weren't you playing like 10 minutes ago? Yes. I was playing like 90 minutes and then headed into... I marked out some spots, and we still have quite a few left, and decided to like analyze those spots using a couple of tools. So here you can see some of the 3-bets that you would make. Like queen, queen, jack, jack is a 40% 3-bet. Just better connected. And that's pretty much it. Queen, queen, jack, jack. So queen, queen, jack, jack is a 3-bet some of the time. Queen, queen, 10, 10 is a call almost always. So we ended up making the right decision there. We are moving into the next hand. Okay, so this is an interesting one. We 3-bet the big blind with ace, ace, queen, 7. And the button calls, and the flop is 10, 9, 8. Rainbow. And I decided to just check fold the flop. Let's ask you guys, do you think we could also c-bet? I'm going to say check or c-bet. Let's have a look if you guys can see a c-bet here as a possibility. So it's about the flop, not the turn. I screenshotted the wrong street. Feels rough folding flop. Okay, we can look into also the response then. But should we start with a check? Seems like you guys are agreeing with a check here. I'm going to bring up the solution on 10, 9, 8 rainbow. Full range check on this board? No, I really don't think so. I think we have... oh, wait, what? 6% c-bet? Don't we have like a lot of like rundown type of hands against the button? Apparently we don't. Maybe it's because it is... Wow, that's actually pretty surprising to me. From Chelsea said that. Sick. Let's have a look at the equity graph. So equities are pretty close. In fact, we do have 53.7% equity, but I guess because the board is so static. So that is pretty sick. Ace, ace, queen, 7. We do see some bets with this hand, I guess. With the backdoor not flush draw. I was mentioning in play, like maybe with the backdoor not flush draw we want to bet, maybe. But if we check and face off pots as bet, yeah, we're going to mainly fold. Backdoor not flush draw, especially 2 backdoor flush draws are calling. I can see that. Like 2 backdoor flush draws calling for sure and folding the rest essentially. Chelsea Dota, definitely the GOAT there. Deciding to check full range on the board. Very nice. So checking is fine, just check folding essentially, which is what I did. I thought about these blockers and whatnot and decided to just check fold. This is another interesting spot. So essentially, here, I decided to lead after calling the small blind. And This is going to be a single raise pot. Cutoff opens, I call in the small blind, which I think is fine. We can look it up. And I decided to lead the flop into my opponent with king, queen, queen 3. What do you guys think? Kaki says nice lay down, lol. Like, if we check call the flop, like, how are we going to win the hand, really? That was kind of my issue. Like, we check call and then what? Like, how do we play the turn? By leading on a straightening card? Check call seems reasonable. Chelsea, Dota. I think this time you're wrong. Check fold. I would rather check fold than check call, to be honest. But I think, and I don't think check raising is that great. Don't like the lead. Okay. I like leading. Okay. Well, you don't have to put it into words. You can also just use a 1, 2, or 3 in the chat. I'm going to open the sim here. On the big blinds, single raise pot. Pre-flop guys was in position. Cutoff versus small blind. We're trying to find king, jack, deuce, two-toned. I'm going to use king, jack, 6. It's not the same, but it's what we have. Okay, so we're leading the flop 36% of the time with our entire range. You guys pull this over. Like, you're pretty torn between leading and check calling, but no one is for check raising, which I agree. Check raising is probably not that great. So we are leading 36.2% of the time on this texture. King, jack, 6, small blind versus cutoff. And if we have a king, we're leading 50% of the time. King, queen, queen 3. Ooh. I mean, it's pretty obvious that we are leading if we have a flush draw block, or a backdoor flush draw. But actually the backdoor, well, yeah, no, the backdoor is leading. But no spade and no diamond is the split between checking and leading. So you guys were right, basically. Obviously, if we did have something like the king of, well, if we had like the queen of spades, we are leading 96% of the time. I think that makes intuitive sense, at least to me. Now, if we go into this combination one more time, if we do check and face the c-bet, we're just going to fold. Yeah, we cannot check call, guys. Chelsea, I'm sorry, but we are 1-1 now. 1-1 with Chelsea. He got me on this first one, checking full range on 10-9-8 rainbow, SB versus button. I was just warming up, but now I'm getting into the zone. And now the chat heroes come out. Riverrun says, yeah, call seems spewy. Of course. But actually he said before that, check fold is bigger than check call, I think. Maybe one flop is elite. All right, I respect that. So Riverrun, we are on the same side on that end. Twitch chat, obviously new mixing. Yeah, of course. Okay. Next hand. Kaki says, GG. Are you leaving? Or are you just saying, like, I played it well? Another hand here. So here we squeezed. I'll give you guys 5 options for this one, okay? Read them through. So we are squeezing with, can you guys see it? Ace A 7-3, we get 2 callers, cutoff, and button. And on a king 6-5 board, we decide to jam with an SPR of 2 for full pot. Would you guys, number 1, check call, number 2, check raise versus 1 player, number 3, check fold, number 4, c bet half pot, or number 5, bet full pot like myself? Kaki is leaving. I do have to go to the gym though. So GG. All right. Oh, he does have to go. Okay, I get it. Enjoy the gym. You guys are all with me in that end. Let's pot it. Well, we do have actually check raise versus 1 coming in now. A lot of potting though overall. Some check calling as well. Let's see if we have a model for this one. Multi-way 3-bet pot. Small bet versus button cutoff. Unpaired king 6-5. I think I have king 6-5. Yeah. We have king 6-5. So this is 100 big blind steep. Maybe we have even 150, but let's have a look. 100 big blind steep. We are betting half pot only 6% of the time overall. So we are usually potting or checking. Ace, ace, 7-3. No spade. Wow. Wow. We check, guys. We check. We just check. Schuller was also in the hand. He folded 6, 7, 7, 8. You should have checked. Tough one to see, really. Apparently, we should check because I guess the scenario of getting in 3-way is so bad. So if we check, and this guy bets half pot, we're supposed to call. We're going to give ourselves backdoor diamonds. We're supposed to call, not rip. If the button stabs, we're also just going to call. So check call would have been correct, and only 15% of you, or 2 guys, were correct. Check call, actually. Wow. That's surprising. And I think as we are moving, if I would have a 150 big blind solution, we would definitely check as well. Well, let's see. 150 big blind, 3-bet pot. Well, where's the multi-way stuff? We only have 200 big blinds, I guess. Yeah, we do have 200 big blinds, but I didn't download all of them, I guess. King 6-5. I would have king 6-5, 200 big blinds deep, but obviously it's not going to change anything. We're going to bet way more half pot than full pot, obviously because we're so deep. And ace, ace, 7-3. No spade is obviously going to check. Okay, so this is kind of not good. Sure hand is interesting. He says he has 6, 7, 7, 8. Well, let's have a look. We're going to go back to the 100 big blind solution. I think you have to probably call. Hard multi-way, small man squeeze. Okay. Let's load this. So if the squeezer pots and it goes back to Schuller on the button with 6, 7, 7, 8. Oh, with no spades, no diamonds, we actually fold. GG, Schuller. GG. No backdoor flush draw. But I guess his question was, am I supposed to check with 1 club on the button? The answer is nope. You take that free card. You have trip outs. You have the not open ender, set outs. He had a crap hand, actually. I think he said that he had 6, 7, 7, 8. It's not that bad of a hand. Not a great hand either. Okay. We're going to move to the next hand. So here, I'm raising in the cutoff, facing a 3-bet. I call with king 10, 6, 6. Seems to be correct, but let's have a quick look. So we raise cutoff, button 3-bets. Back to me. Just downloading the ranges. Okay, we have king. We're supposed to fold 21%. We have king 10, 6, 6, double suited. We call. It is close to a fold. You can see minus 3.2, but it is a call. Then we pick the sim. Post flop, 100 big blinds, 3-bet pots out of position. Wait, not out of position, in position, the 3-better. Button versus cutoff. And the flop was ace 10, 6, rainbow. We have ace 10, 6, rainbow. There we go. So I decided to check rip the flop. And my question is, what should we do on the flop versus SC bets? Check call, check raise. Obviously, we're not going to check fold with a set. Yeah, exactly. We call almost all double suited hands be open from the cutoff. How's it going, Arcelo? The hands we fold pre are like single suited stuff. Twitch chat might have me with this one. I decided to check rip. But you guys want to see the check call. I mean, check call has some advantages because we can keep his bluffs in and maybe he wants to barrel through or whatever. We could also potentially not lose our stack against aces on some turn river transitions. 90% of you guys want to see a check call. Let's see. So on the flop, we obviously check full range. I mean, pretty obvious. Our opponent is going to bet probably full range small, half pot. Here we go. And this is a little bit of a larger bet than the player in action actually used. But we're going to look into the result regardless, of course. And guys, I'm happy to announce you're wrong. But more importantly, I was right. We're going to rip it in, apparently. Apparently, we are going to rip it in. Let's have a look how much equity we have, actually, against this entire range. 60%, not even that much. Obviously, if he has a set, we're dead. So the answer is, let's check raise it all in and play. Like, if we check raise and he gets it in, let's have a look how much equity we have. We have still 45% equity, apparently. Okay, so that seems to be clean. Next hand. Okay, so here, basically what happened in this hand is we raise the button and our opponent 3-bets from the small blind and pots the flop and we get it in with a set. First question is, should the small blind 3-bet in this spot? So, should SB 3-bet versus button? Or actually, what should SB do versus button RFI? Options are fold, call, 3-bet. Because my impression was maybe fold is okay. Actually, call is okay. I'm even confused. Can we call? Let's have a look what you guys are saying. Chelsea says close 3 bets. I would just fold, but that's because I play on high rate environments. Call should be the GTO one. Okay. Mixed strategy, 3 bet low percentage. Okay, let's see. Fold, fold, fold. Button raises. Small blinds response. So small blinds response is 9.6% 3 bet. Ace, king, queen, 4. Trip suited. Is never a 3 bet, but 97% of the time a fold. Only when the king is not suited and we can therefore dominate, we're going to call 10% of the time. That was my impression. I was like, I think this guy should not 3 bet before the flop with his hand. You guys are quite torn in between. We could look into the same hand for PLO 5K rake and see if we see a difference. So 5K, fold, 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 button raises, and then small blind. 3 bets. So instead of 3 betting 9.6% overall, the small blind now at 5K is 3 betting 9.3%, more incentive to call. And ace, king, queen, 10, triple suited is going to call a lot. So that's very interesting because it means, you know, we have a lot of rake back on PLO 500. So you can say maybe it is a fine call. It's still not a 3 bet, but maybe it is a fine call. It's an okay call, especially if you have a king that is not suited and he didn't have the king that was suited. So like calling could have been fine with the rake back. 3 betting seems to be like an overplay move. But let's move into the flop. So flop is 10-6-5. And I'm going to ask you guys, what is small blind supposed to do? No, what is small blind's strategy on the flop? And we have a few options. We have check, bet half pot, bet full pot. So flop is 10-6-5, stack to pot ratio 3.5. We are 100 big blinds deep. And you have ace, king, queen, 4 with 3 diamonds. What are you supposed to do on the flop? You want to check. You want to go for the half pot size bet, full pot size bet. Vote now, guys. For 1, for check. 2, bet half pot. Or 3, bet full pot. Put in your votes right now, guys, for the flop strategy. Okay, the poll is finished. Almost. Give me million. Okay, well, let's pull up this sim here. 3 bet pot, 3 betters out of position, small blind versus button. Wow, Schwein. 10-6-5. I think we have 10-6-5. We have 10-5-4. It's a little bit different, I guess. 10-7-5. We're going to use 10-5-4. And we're going to look into ace with 3 diamonds that has no pair. And the answer is potting all those combinations. potting was right, which means that you guys / Twitch chat was right. 46.9%, guys. I want to ask the help of the audience. Okay. Next hand to work ourselves through is this one here. So what happened? I squeeze in the big blind against the cutoff open and a button cold caller, which is pretty normal. Flop is 997. And the question is, what should we do on the flop? We could check. 1 second. We can either check call, check raise versus 1. We can bet 33% or bet full pot. And we started. So what should we do in the flop, guys? First to act. Should we check? Or should we go for the bet, guys? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let us know. Call a friend. That's a classic one. All right, you guys want to go for the check call. Let's see if that makes sense. So, 100 big blinds, 3-bet pot, multi-way. We're going to use small blind versus button versus cutoff on a paired board. Paired boards are tricky because we don't have that many, I guess. We have 9, 6, 6, but actually the high card is the same. Well, we have actually 9, 9, 8. Okay, that works. We're going to use 9 and 8 and the same preflop hand that we had. So queen, queen, jack, 10 with diamonds. And the right answer would have been let's bet. As you guys can see, 100% of the time. And if we bet and this guy jams, we're going to stack off. If he jams and this guy overcalls, we're going to fold. Now, let's have a look if we only had a gut shot. So we have king, king, queen, jack with diamonds. And the answer is still bet 1/3, trying to extract value from weaker hands. So chat, you and myself were wrong because I did play the hand as a check, but I also told you guys that I think it is a bet from a GTO perspective in game, but maybe if people stab aggressively, check jamming is also an interesting line to take, and I decided to go for this line. But I think that's probably a little bit too fancy. Just betting is better, 1/3. If that is a squeeze in the first place, I think without a doubt, guys. But let's have a look. We're going to look into cutoff opens, button calls, and then big blind's response. Queen, queen, check, 10. I think it's for sure a squeeze. Strong hand. What? What? Wait, let's cut the stream. Cut the stream, guys. See you tomorrow. No, just kidding. It hurts. It hurts, guys. It hurts. It hurts. Moments like these, they exist, okay? Goodness. Now Chelsea comes around the corner. I would have also just called. Now that you see the solution. All right, dude. Let's have a king, king. I mean, king, king, queen, jack is obviously an obvious. Like, it's obvious king, king, queen, jack. We're always going to squeeze. And then queen, queen, jack 10. Like, it's such a beautiful hand. Come on. All right. All right, guys. We are learning some stuff here, okay? We're learning some stuff. Next one. Oh my god, I can already see like how I messed up this hand. Okay. We are squeezing one more time from the big blind, but this time we are 150 big blinds deep against Old Schooler, aka Scholler, who's also in the chat. Button is 125 big blinds deep. Flop is Jack 9-5 rainbow. What should we do on the flop? Check call, check raise versus 1. Bet half pot or bet full pot. Let's go, guys. So we are the squeezer. On the flop, stacked pot ratio is about 3. A little bit more actually against Scholler. And the question is, should we go for a check call, check raise versus 1, bet half pot or bet full pot, guys? Answer right now in the chat by using a 1, 2, or 3 so that your vote can get locked in. Who wants the million? Scholler goes with a full pot size bet. You guys are very, very split in this one. Chelsea with the check call. SS Crusher with the 3, which is bet half pot. Roxfall says this format is amazing. I appreciate it. Alright guys, we're about to close it down. Alright guys, you guys voted and you said bet full pot, but very, very mixed feelings here in terms of Twitch chat. Only 38% voted for full pot. I ended up betting full pot. Scholler is right, very awkward spot. Let's have a look what the solver is going to say to it. So we're going to go into a 200 big blind solution, I think. Post flop, 200 big blinds, 3-bet pot. 3-better is out of nice multi-way. Small blind squeeze versus cutoff and button, yes. And we're looking for a Jack 9-5 board. We thought we might not have Jack 9-5, guys. So, Oh wow, we have very limited boards. This could be like a cliffhanger, like in Who Becomes a Millionaire. Like we need like the warning sound at the end, and then like, all right, this is gonna be continued in the next episode. But I don't have the sound, and we do need some sim. I can download one. Let me just double check. Because I do have more sims somewhere. Yeah, I have Jack 10-8 rainbow. And we're going to use that one. And if you download it first, it's 3 gigabytes big. So pretty large. But this is in fact the last bot we want to focus on today. So we're going to wait for it. Jeopardy music. Let's have a look. Lanterkrapfen is back. Lanterkrapfen, what would you do here? Squeezing pre. I'm downloading the sim for it, guys. Check the 100 big sim for Jack 9-5. Okay, that's a starting point. I mean, the 100 big sim I think is pretty obvious. We're just gonna pot. But let's see. I mean, I was wrong before, so. So for 100 big blinds, we do have Jack 8 deuce, rainbow. And we're just gonna use the same hand, which is, you can see on Jack 8 deuce rainbow, 100 big blinds deep. We do have a 71% potting strategy. So ace, king, king, queen is going to pot. No big surprise. But the question is, guys, what about 200 big blinds deep? And that's what I'm downloading right now. Already at 1 gigabyte out of 3. Jack 8 deuce. Lanterkrapfen says, I think I would bet small. So in my sim, that would be half pot, 200 big steep, and then stack off against one, but not against both. You know, I also felt sort of that way, but also we are pretty strong. But I guess it makes sense if both players go all in. We're halfway there, guys, in terms of the sim. I'm just going to go quickly to the bathroom, and I'm going to be back in a couple of seconds. In the meantime, some intermission music, 1 second. Hold on, guys. I'll be back shortly for you for this amazing quiz. Talk to you soon. Stay patient. All right, guys. Thank you very much for holding on. Your sim has been downloaded. Thank you guys for holding on. Let's have a look. 200 big blinds, 30 by pot, multi-away. Push it to the limit. I ran out of Kapfen. Thank God there's a McDonald's near my place. Guys, it is a full range check. What? You saw, so the same board texture, 100 big blinds deep is ace, king, king, queen is always just potting, getting it in. The macro strategy overall with our range is going to be to pot 70%. Here it is to pot 6.5%. So massive difference. Obviously in the actual hand, the button is shallower, but still it shows like how large the differences are once you get deeper. And I actually am convinced now that potting is terrible. Like potting is certainly wrong. It's either going to be half pot or check. And I think it's more likely to be check even than half pot. So, guys, there's a lot to learn still. There's a lot to learn and be enlightened by. This is why Vayni plays 100 big blinds. Well, if we do check and we face a bet here, half pot, we are supposed to check call mostly. I mean, we don't have a gutter in this on Jack 8 deuce, but we do have a gutter here. And we could look into, like, what is a gutter, guys? Do you know something? Like queen, ace, queen, queen, 9? Yeah, so ace, queen, queen, 9 is betting some of the time, especially with two backdoor flush draws. Or with the backdoor nut flush draw sometimes. So we could say like this hand, I mean, maybe it is strong enough to bet. Probably don't want to pot it, essentially. The board is much worse without the gutter. Yeah. Well, king, king, 10, 9 we can't take. Ace, queen, queen, 9 is not a gutter. Wait. Ace, queen, queen, 9 is not a gutter. So what happens when we hit a 10? We can also look into king, king, queen, 9. You fought the wrong board. Okay. King, king, queen, 9 is betting 32% of the time, especially with two backdoor flush draws. The reason why the number is so high, I think, is because we are often double suited. And a lot of the single suited hands that we're not three betting, probably. Well, yeah. Like if we are not double suited, we are. Wait. Yeah, here you can see the double suited ones are betting. Oh, wait. If we are not double suited. What? Did I already unlearn the syntax? Okay. Yeah, single suited we don't bet, 5.8%. So basically single suited we just check. And I think it's kind of indicated that this hand is also going to be a check like really often actually. I think that's quite convincing. I think we are supposed to check essentially. Yeah. Okay, so for tomorrow, guys, ladies and gentlemen, for tomorrow we have 8 hours of PLO action on this channel, Masterminds of PLO, which means every PLO Mastermind coach will be streaming for 2 hours starting at 2 p.m. CET. And we're going to have 4 free roll tournaments on Party, $100 in each. And you can just get the password here on the chat or on the stream tomorrow, starting at 2 p.m. The first tournament will be at 3 p.m., then 5 p.m., 7 p.m., 9 p.m. So we're going to have 4 free roll tournaments for all of you guys tomorrow. In total, $400 of just free money put out there. And you guys can participate in all of them if you want to, starting tomorrow at 2 p.m., joining into the stream, and you get the password right there. Hope to see you tomorrow in the stream and also on the tables of the free roll. You can already find the tournaments in the Party Poker lobby. They're called PLO Masterminds Tryouts. And like number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Will the new software have 200 big blind heads up sims? Not from the beginning, but we can add them. Those are some pretty large sims, by the way. It will have like 200 big blind 6 max sims. But when you say heads up, do you mean like heads up PLO, right? Like 2 players on the table. Because then we are going to start with 100 big blinds only to begin with, but then scale it up. Cool. Guys, we'll see each other tomorrow. Should I host someone? Like, who would it be even? Trying to see, like, who is around. We can throw the host over to Nut Raisin. Get some PLO action there. Guys, we'll see each other tomorrow at 2 p.m. on this channel. Can I ask something? The answer is unfortunately not now, but you can DM me on Discord or ask tomorrow when I'm streaming on the Masterminds of PLO, guys. Are the tournaments available on Bet and Win as well? No, I don't think so, but they are available on Party Poker DK and Party Poker for Czech Republic. So Denmark and Czech Republic can also play. Guys, see you tomorrow on this channel. Peace. Guys, see you tomorrow on this channel. Peace.